Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of them days. Not quite what I was looking for. Let's see you guys. Hey everybody, how's it going? Yes, you probably haven't seen one of these in years. And it's been like this ever since. Never been able to solve it. Not my cup of tea, I guess. Let's see here. I'm just making it worse. It's just getting worse. I don't know what I'm doing. It's gonna be up to you guys to solve this. Wait till everyone moseys on in, because I did start a little bit early for the purposes of you guys being able to drop on by. So we want to make sure that everything's stable and straight, because it doesn't seem to be. All right. Come on here. What's up? Why you are you? I don't know what time that was for you though. Maybe that's for me. I'm not sure. Hey, thank you. Welcome to the chat. Glad you could drop by. We're going to be explaining a couple things on a couple of projects, and I'm going to sit here and drive myself absolutely mad with one of these frickin' Rubik's Cubes. Which I cannot solve. I just can't. It might have something to do with the fact that I'm colorblind. I don't know. Can a colorblind man solve a Rubik's Cube? I don't know. I guess if I turn it enough, I can. Just random. Hello, Amelia. Welcome. We're just kind of playing around and talking and chatting and hanging out, and I'm trying to solve something. I'm trying to solve a multicolored Rubik's Cube while being colorblind. It's fairly difficult. I don't know how to do this. As an engineer, I'd probably just take it apart and put it back together in the right angles, but I suppose that would defeat the purpose. Hi, Larissa, welcome. Amelia, hi. Let's see. Or you good? I don't know if that was a question or a statement. I assume you meant are. Yeah, I'm fine. Totally good. How are you doing? Except for this freaking thing. I was told I have to solve this or the world ends. I don't know why. I'm just kidding. Anyway. So, what's everybody up to today? Everybody having a good day? And thank you for the hairstyle comment, by the way, too. If I miss anything, I apologize. I'm on a delay on the chat. So, when you're doing verticals and using the front end of the camera, or front end, then you can't see the chats as they come through, so I have to kind of wait for them to come up on the tablet, which kind of sets me back a bit. So I'm not ignoring you, but if I do miss a question or a comment, please repeat it if I haven't responded. Hello, sir. What are you thinking about Pakistan? What am I thinking about Pakistan? Um, you want to make a trip to Pakistan? Is that safe for me? I mean, I don't know. Are you? What's your original? Um, what's your lineage? I mean, are you going there as an American, or are you just, you know? There's two ways to get there. On a plane as a civilian or in fatigues, battle dress uniform. You kind of have to make a choice on that one. One might get you there quicker, but um, might not be able to enjoy the sights and sounds. Yes, that's what the shirt says. Manual, Mandel. I'm trying to pronounce. I'm gonna chew up names. Okay, that's all there is to it. I personally, if you're gonna travel to Pakistan, I would consult someone at an agency that could give you more information about that. Um, I honestly couldn't tell you. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's places you could. I mean, go to Dubai instead. It's gonna be a lot more fun. No, I wanted to see Dubai as far as like that big inner city. That would just be really cool. And that place lit up at night is just spectacular. But never had a chance to do Dubai. Had a friend there once. Used to talk to. Kept me updated on things. But other than that, you know, only other place I've been other than the places I was deployed to was went to Australia as a civilian. So that was fun. Brisbane, Queensland, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. It was just strange. It's strange when you take yourself out of your element and you haven't really traveled a lot, and you go to a different place like that, and you're just like, this is trippy. I'm like watching a storm 50 miles away, and it's like I can still see it, just clear as day. And not in this valley, I'll tell you that. And the storm comes up, it literally just shows up and then disappears. That's how our storms are. Of course, we've been getting tornadoes here, and that's not normal for California. So it is starting to get a bit exciting. Who doesn't want a good tornado? Get off me, you little son bitch. I'm looking sad? Why am I looking sad? I'm like happy. I get to stream live again and talk to all the people and see all the people. What I'm waiting for is the trolls because they're the most fun. Not that you guys aren't fun, but I'm also waiting for the people who are interested in my content that usually come on, so I can kind of explain the next steps of what I'm doing with the 340 millimeter EDF. Did you redact that comment, or was it removed? Where is it? I don't understand the. Okay, whatever, man. Whenever it gets through the night. And here we are on a Thursday. Probably one of the most popular days of the week to do a live stream, obviously. Welcome, all three of you. Cobra! See, I told you I'd be doing a live. You'd be able to come back on. Say hi. How you been? So how's your day going? What's your plans for the day other than staring at me on your phone or computer or laptop or in your case an iPad? Have I tried vaping? I used to smoke cigs. Now I vape like a madman. No, I do not want to vape. This is more of something I do when I do the lives, not all the time. I was a smoker, smoked several packs a day. You know, military thing. Even smoked before that, but the pipe was to kind of take care of that fixation of wanting to smoke. And then I stopped smoking packs of cigarettes altogether. Vaping, I never really got. I didn't feel anything from it. As far as, like, you still found yourself, like, I guarantee you, vaping, you could be vaping right now. And if you smoke a cigarette, you're going to feel different. And I don't know. It's because there's something else in the cigarette that is not telling you about. What's up, everybody? What's up? Tony? Hey, glad you're checking in. How is Jersey? Sorry about those drones, man. I'll try to keep them in my backyard. Would you rather get caught liking by the ops or the most embarrassing picture posted on public of you? I have no idea what kind of question that is. The pipe, it's just like an amalgamation of two that I put together. Like Gandalf versus Englishman. But yeah, it's just, yeah. Thanks, man. You know, I always try to wear a different statement. Free Diddy. That was his problem to begin with. He was free in the Diddy. He just diddied the wrong diddler, you know what I mean? And now he's in a shit ton of baby oil in jail. So, yeah, I'm surprised they even caught his ass. He was running. Must have been a slippery motherfucker. All I know is that that trial's like not allowed to be televised, which is typical of Hollywood and celebrities. It's like they have cameras in just about every other court, but not celebrity trials. Greetings from Brazil, and greetings from California, Larissa. Welcome. Yes, the beautiful armpit of California, where we're constantly covered and protected from the fresh air above by a blanket of smog and pollution. You take a whiff every single morning and go, ah, carbon monoxide. The only way we survive here. Hell, we get fresh air from going up in altitude and we don't know what to do with it. We're like, why am I dizzy? And your oxygen's like 140. Rose, hello, how are you? Batista, welcome. PXD. What? This morning on Benny Jen's show. Did I miss something? Benny Johnson. What, I look like a Benny Johnson? I have no idea. Song Media, hello, how are you? Welcome to the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. Today we're here to talk about just about anything. Specifically, how a man who's colorblind could solve one of these damn things. Some of my work. Well, okay. Actually, that's part of the discussion today. Because the 340 millimeter EDF that I have been working on, hold on one second. Yeah, I hear you, Gene. I've lived here my whole life. I'm still trying to crawl out. But what I've been working on is basically stuff like this for an EDF engine. Oh, thank you, my dear. My weapon of choice. This is the fan that I'm pushing the EDF engine with, or building the EDF engine with. Now, one of the main things that I had done before was you have this main shaft that goes through the fan's hub. Let me start over. This is the hub where the bearings that attach to this go into on the horizontal angle when the blade is 90 degrees from horizontal, facing that way. Okay, so originally what we had is we had the top half of this up here, which attaches to the motor collet, and then the motor mount mounts over that. And I had these shafts that came out the side, and that held standard skateboard bearings, and that was more of like a temporary thrust bearing. And the purpose of that was when I spun the fan up, because I'm using a 60 horsepower motor, it would push through the assembly. In other words, the bearings there wasn't anything to hold the fan into the hub other than being tied to the keyway of the main shaft on the motor. And since I didn't want that much stress on the motor bearings, I put in these shafts, and then I put these roller bearings on the side so it would sit up against the back of the hub here and roll when it was spinning, so it wouldn't push the main fan all the way through. So we decided to go a different direction. This little cut on the inside here is I'm trying to acknowledge people. I really am. But the problem is I'm using the front-facing camera on the phone, and I can only see the chat through the same delay that you have. So that's one of the reasons why. So if I miss you, I apologize. I'll acknowledge everyone as I can. But when I'm explaining what somebody had asked me about, and one of the main reasons why we were here, besides chatting and hanging out, I have to answer. So you've all heard of a tapered roller bearing. So that will give me the, you put the flat part here, and then the tapered angle goes here, and that goes through this shaft. Now this shaft is set in two pieces so that the roller bearings inside sits here, and then this goes over the top and sets into place. This is indexed together with the hexagonal shaft that goes through the main shaft itself and the actual the fan itself. So what will happen is put the bearing on, seat it together, that'll be glued together, then you can push it through the bearings inside the central shaft like so. The bearing sits here, the actual tapered roller bearing, and then this will lock the back of the bearing into place, and I'm just going to CA that into place. And what that's going to do is allow this fan to push forward on the hub assembly without coming out of the hub assembly altogether. So this is held together. This is held onto the fan with 8mm bolts. So you can kind of see now how that works. So this is the hub stator, which holds the actual stators that go out to the casing. So now as the motor drives the fan, it's going to push against that bearing and keep everything steady. Plus it'll have the internal bearings that it rolls on for the vertical. Now you have the vertical roller bearing that's tapered, so it can't pull itself through the stator casing, and then you have the bearings on the inside, which keeps it on the vertical. The vertical horizontal, the 90 degree to the horizontal. So that's how that whole system is going to work. So I thought I would just explain that so people had sort of an idea of what was going on. Hey, thanks for talking about it, John. Again, if I miss your comments, it's not because I'm trying to. It's because it's really hard to keep up with the chat while and look at the camera. Don't let anything distract you from the fact that 55 years ago today, Al Bundy scored 4 touchdowns in a single game while playing Polk High Panther. That's actually. How do you even remember that? That's freaking nuts. I used to love that show, man. Love that show. That was just the funniest. Al Bundy. Oh man. That was a fun show. You know, you just gave away our ages right now, right? You're probably thinking you gave yours away when you started streaming. That's all there is to that one, right? So now that we've got the technicals out of the way, and if anyone wants to see more of the work, at the end of the stream, I'll show you around the shop. I do have this cool little plane I'm working on right here. But I haven't decided whether or not we're going to go with the flight controller or if we're just going to go standard RC. I'm thinking standard RC. You know, it'll make it less complicated. I can push it with a 4100 kV motor off the Dill drone that I have sitting over there. Yes, you heard me say that. Dill drone. You'll find videos on it. No idea how you got here, but well, I appreciate it, man. Oh, coffee from the missus. Thank you, my dear. Je t'aime, mon chéri petit. Yeah, I've got my little anti-fly coaster. Since we live in an orchard field, or orchard field, that made sense. Almond orchard. Have to worry about flies every time you open the door. But yeah, we're probably gonna. I'm probably gonna risk it and just go with a straight 2.4 gigahertz receiver rather than a flight controller, because it's just Elevon control. I mean, how hard could it be? Famous last words, right? I just printed it. You know, it didn't take very much filament. So I mean, no big deal. I got the servos, I got the ESC, I got the motor, and I've got an RX to put in there from a Fly Sky radio, which is decent, you know, for the price. But it'll be fun. It should last at least a few seconds. Either way. But yeah, you know, when we get to that flight, I'll probably have that ready to fly. Maybe by the weekend, and then I can take it out and I'll do a video on that. How does the Iron Dome work? Well, it depends on who you are and why you're asking. Without any direct knowledge of the Iron Dome, I can tell you that it's just basically a missile interceptor system. Designed to, I mean, it can intercept surface to surface that travel low, like cruise missiles, things like that. But it's really designed for intercontinental ballistic missiles. But really, at any altitude, I think it's effective at intercepting missiles. It just locks onto one specific heat signature and follows it. No. Iron Dome, David. Iron Dome. Alice, hi, how you doing? In a sense, yeah. It's really just about radar tracking a specific heat signature, and then it stays on that one while ignoring the rest until it takes the target out. That's why there's multiples. And I would think if there were many incomers at in close proximity of each other, it would probably get confused between the two. But typically they're spread out enough to where the targeting systems, since they have individual targeting systems, each one can track a different heat source without being confused. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. Yes, everyone likes the shirt, and I always have a different shirt. It's just something funny that most people either disagree with, get mad at, or love. No, I can't. I can't. The reason I'm colorblind, so it's like really difficult. So I don't know if it was a cruel joke that I got that this was given to me, or just like a haha, he'll never get it. The shirt is not my own merch, no. My own merch is the mug. Stubby Fan. And there's a Stubby Fan playlist to explain why. That there's a cup dedicated to it. Skeleton. Oh, the one that says I got your back? And it's the one holding the other spine? Yeah, I think I do. I think Morgan stole it from me. Well, then I'll send it to him. And your brother can solve it for me. I was actually wanting to do an experiment with AI. I was going to use ChatGPT, and I was going to take a picture of it like it is and be like, okay, solve this. Let's see if it can tell me how many moves. So I might do that on a video just to see what happens. I mean, just for fun. Yeah, if you could. Well, I mean, okay, can you solve it by the angles that you see? And tell me what I should do next? Alice, you want to do what? I want to grow my channel. Well, you know what I did to grow my channel? My content is sort of a niche kind of content. It's not something you normally see out there. So I hammered it every single day for over a year straight. I haven't stopped yet. And I just gave shorts and updates and used hashtags and just did everything I could to pull any attention to what I was doing, because I knew once somebody finally saw the end product of what I plan on doing, that it would be something they would watch. But nobody ever wants to watch the build up to it. They just want to see they want, everything has to be kind of broken up into 15, 30-minute segments to catch attention. And if you got enough, shock and shock and awe basically in that short, you can basically pull people in that way. And then there's some people who don't like to watch the shorts at all, and they go strictly for videos. So, and that's when you start your video off with a very important part of the video you made, a highlight, and then say how you got, in this video, this is how we got to that point. That's what I kind of learned, because I'm sorry to say it, this younger generation is harder to get the attention of when you want to actually share your content. Tony, don't you have anything better to do? I used hashtags specifically in the beginning because no one was going to know that. I mean, the title is very important. Try not to put hashtags in the title. Try to put them in the description on videos, and then try to put them in the title on shorts. I don't know why. It works. Yes, it's one of the girls' mango drinks. I stole it because Morgan stole my shirt, the one you were just talking about. What did you expect me to do, David? I'm thirsty. Need something out here. I didn't have any rock stars left. That reminds me, I gotta send you a link for the bearing I was talking about with everybody here, because I need to order it. Yes, David is the one that I send the links to buy the stuff that I need. He's like having an accountant where you don't actually have to spend any of your own money. No, I did not say anything about it. But they might be watching the live stream, so I wouldn't say too much more with the surprise. I got hair stuck on my face. You're like, you got tons of hair stuck on your face. Uneven and I have no idea what that means, but hello anyway. Welcome, Steven. I'm new to RC planes and from Pakistan. Can you please share some advice? Well, I don't know what the market is for RC planes in Pakistan. So I honestly don't know what I could tell you other than what are you looking to get into? Fixed wing flight, drones, gliders. What are you looking to start with? Usually, powered gliders are easier to start with. You know, it's just bigger planes, not smaller ones. Smaller ones are really hard to control, especially if you're new. So getting something a mid-sized between 1,500 to 2,500 millimeters on a powered glider is going to be your best bet if you're just starting out. Because it's big enough to where you can actually fly it. It's not small, so the wind can't knock it around. You've got more agency in the sky with that thing because it's got the weight behind it. Makes control easier. So, and then from that point, you want to watch some videos on YouTube of how you would launch, you know, a powered glider, best way to do it. Make sure how to set the trims on your radio so that when you do take off and you throttle up, you're not going to nose into the ground all of a sudden. You know, just there's tons of information out there, tons of videos on how to do it. But I would go with a decent sized powered glider to start. You're going to have a lot more fun with it. Oh glory! Thou hast arrived! And I didn't even bring the red carpet. Say something mean, awful, and accurate. Okay. Biden couldn't even get gravity right. Dude fell up a flight of stairs. Did that work? Did I meet all the criteria for the... Yeah, you could do some fixed wing stuff. I flew one called the Switch when I first started learning, and it went from a high wing sort of Cessna in a sense to a low wing aerobatic, so you could switch it. Obviously, that's why it was called the Switch. So you could set the wing position where you wanted it, depending on how. So you get good with the high wing, you know, where it's more stable, easier to fly, and then you could move to the more aerobatic version just by moving the spar and the wings down. It's pretty cool. But I don't know if they even make it anymore, but it was called the Switch, and I can't remember who made it. Thank you. I'm glad I was accurate on the influence. T2, how you doing, man? Been kind of quiet in here without you. Everyone can do this thing in under like a couple of minutes. I can't. You know how I solved this thing? By throwing it against the wall and then gluing it all back together the way it's supposed to be. Sometimes the shortest route is a straight line. You know? No matter how violent that straight line is. Steve Brown. Yeah. You're welcome. Powered gliders are fun too. I'm gonna be honest with you, if I had the extra cash lying around, I'd be getting that FMS Fox. That's a 3,000 millimeter plane. And it is a powered glider, and it just sounds awesome through the air. I mean, it just whistles through the air. And it's got the power to do aerobatics, but still be a decent glider. Plus you have flaps, so you can do some low, slow flybys, that kind of stuff. You know, you've got all the control you need on that one. Except most of those you have to kind of consider that in gliders, if you're not running, some gliders don't have ailerons. They depend solely on the elevator and the rudder. Don't get one of those. Get one that has ailerons. Get one that has flaps if you can. It's just way more enjoyable. But just remember, with gliders, you're usually going to have to do a lot of rudder turning just because of the wingspan, especially with the length of the wings and the dihedral. You're going to want to rudder turn it. But yeah, but don't get caught up in one. Like I had one called the Radian, but it had no ailerons. It was strictly rudder control and elevator, and I didn't like it, even though it had the dihedrals at the wingtips, and it would self-stabilize in flight. I just didn't like it because I liked personally being able to roll the plane instead of just pitch and rudder. Well, Microsoft Simulator is not really going to help you with, you know, RC flying. Oh, you mean being on a plane? Yeah, I've been on a couple of flights. Longest one though, one of the longest ones, was between San Francisco to Hong Kong International, and then down to Brisbane. And here's the weird thing. This was back before, I want to say it was around 2000, maybe a little bit later. I can't remember. Anyway, the point is, It was right before I went into the military, and I was scheduled when I stopped in Hong Kong. They were having some kind of monsoon, so the plane landed like literally sideways, which was cool. Everybody else is terrified. I have ADHD, so I'm like, yeah, we're good. Even if the wing comes off, we're close enough to the ground where everything just might be okay. So I wasn't worried. But the interesting part was my flight, my connecting flight was somehow overbooked, so they moved me to another flight, which was later than that. And then I found out that that flight went down like outside of Malaysia. So I'm like, okay. And I'm not laughing because a plane went down. I'm just like thinking to myself the irony of the fact that I get pushed back to a different flight, and then the flight I was supposed to be on crashes. So it was like luck, I guess. My guardian angel. It's like 10 grand to get a license to fly a plane. Dang. I'm gonna stay with finishing my drone and flying that around. Like a quad bike. Not like this one you see. Like, I know that this one guy who invented a car that everyone likes or something. Oh no, it was the flying car, the one with the props, I guess. And he created this air bike. But it's got, I'm not sure how many of kerosene powered, you know, jet engines on it. So I imagine it's probably limited as far as its flight time. Its speed, I don't doubt, but I haven't seen a demonstration of it yet. I don't blame the guy for wanting to push it to 124 miles an hour, but especially when you're sitting on probably a couple of gallons of kerosene and 1 to 2 jet engines. Not to mention it's only going to lift somebody at a certain weight. It's not what I'm going for on my designs. Cricket, hi, how you doing? If I miss it, remember, if I miss your comment or your announcement, I'm on the same delay as you are because of the way I have to do this live. So it doesn't mean I'm ignoring you. But yeah, I honestly think that flying bike is a good idea, except, you know, when you're on a bike, you got some room to kind of move around a little bit. I feel like on that one, that you're kind of locked into a specific position, and you're not moving your legs, you're not stretching them out, you're not like switching gears, you're not able to put your legs down at a stop or take a break, you know, that kind of thing. Because I think it would throw the balance off. I think you have to be specifically in one spot, and if you shift, you're gonna have to correct. Even if it had all, you know, its own auto stabilization, you're still gonna have to make corrections. The reason why I'm designing mine the way I'm doing it is because it gives you 4 engines, is electric, runs off of hydrogen, and you don't have a burning flame directly underneath your crotch. Some people probably do anyway, but the point is, just having those 2 engines facing upwards, right at the grapes, is just it's fairly disconcerting. Not to knock the guy's progress, not to knock his design. I'm sure it's great, but look, I'm 6'4" and like 290. It's not lifting me. That's all there is to it. It might lift whoever this guy is, because perspective is everything. And in the videos, he might look like a normal sized guy, but he's probably 5'2" and 120 pounds. I mean, so how versatile is the air bike? You know, that's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking his design or anything like that. I think it's an ingenious design. I just think that he designed it around himself. So I just don't understand how that appeals to an open market where you're going to sell this thing. The good thing about Pakistan, I'd say, is we can have an engine connect tire and do whatever the hell you want. Oh, that's cool. You know, you go over there, you just make whatever you want. There's just like no limit, right? I have a 400-foot ceiling for most of the stuff that I'm doing because that's FAA regulation unless I get clearance. But and file for clearance in a flight plan first. If the vehicle weighs a specific amount, of course, then you have to have a specific license for it. And I think even if it's underweight, I don't know, PXD knows about this more than I do. PXD, give us the specifics. How heavy can this object be before I have to actually license it? And do I have to license it if I'm going to be flying it if it's under the weight requirement for a license? I think Elon Musk have advanced technology. No is can you do that question one more time? Because I'm not understanding what you're saying there. Is what depressing, Steve? Oh, you mean for the regulations? Oh yeah. I mean, I understand why, because we have so much air traffic, but there's still areas, in the United States where I could probably move to once I finally crawl out of the Valley of California. That there's probably not as strict of regulations, but because I'm in the valley and you've got several major airports on the coast, I've got planes over my house all the time, so that I have to stay underneath wherever the map shows me what the altitude ceiling is for me. And then I've got to watch for air traffic. And then, of course, I'm around orchards of almonds, so I got to make sure no one's crop dusting so that I don't run into somebody or they run into me, that kind of thing. Oh, you're talking about Black Mirror kind of stuff. I know what you're talking about. Well, let's look at it this way. If you make a copy of an image, you can see the image, but it isn't really the image, is it? If you take a copy or a picture of an image that has depth, like an oil painting, you get one perspective, and that's the image of the perspective of the image that you just took. Oil paintings are unique in the sense that they can create their own shadows, especially when you have layered effects, the dimension in it. And you lose that if you make a copy, especially if it's just a copy from one angle. So, are you putting your consciousness in a hard drive, or are you just copying the neural patterns that are happening, the electrical signals, and mimicking them and allowing them to continue on by themselves based on an algorithm that assumes how these neural patterns are going to unfold? So I honestly don't think that even if you could copy a consciousness on there, that it would be sentient, nor would it be aware. Because if it would become aware, that would be absolutely terrifying. I mean, I'm over here creating like EDF drones, and then he comes out with a consciousness, and then all of a sudden we've got Terminator. Nice, amazing, and accurate things. Oh, you're the one that came in last time and said, yeah, okay, you're trying to say the opposite. of everything on my shirt. That's cute. Um, I swear, Professor Oak, what do you think that's a picture of? I'll give you one guess. You get it wrong, and we time you out. No, it's a lamp. Oh no, guys, do we time them out for 10 minutes for getting it wrong? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to do that. Gloria, I'll leave that one on you. That's a game we should play, huh? Answer riddles. If you get them wrong, you have to get timed out for a certain amount of time and stay and watch until the next riddle. Professor Oak, if you have, that's actually quite disturbing. And probably explains a lot about your bloodline. Just saying, you know. I guess inbreeding really is a thing nowadays, isn't it? He's seen his sister like that many times when he met his wife on Ancestry.com. '57. Yeah, because they had color images back then. Orlok, the Destroyer. Welcome. Thank you for the comment on the beard. I appreciate it. I'm watching the chat so I don't miss like questions and stuff like that. I'm doing my best to make sure that you guys, I answer all your questions. I am on delay though. It's Pew. How you doing? I'm still never gonna get that name right. Maybe my wife should figure out how to help me pronounce it. How are things going in your neck of the woods? It's a vibe. Thank you. Thank you. I'll always have a different shirt to make somebody laugh. I really want to make you guys laugh. I'll appear without one. Oh, it's not delay, it's old age. Right. Thanks a lot. Not a lot of people. Everybody who's been here before knows my age, but every time I ask everyone to guess my age, they get it so wrong for ages, and then somebody finally hits it. And I'm like, it's crazy. Your name is message redacted? I'm thinking in time the police and government will be automated like self-checkout. Yeah, probably. Did you ever have a good relationship with parents? I didn't have a father. Well, technically I had one, but he wasn't around. My mom's disabled, so we pretty much did whatever the heck we wanted to. My grandmother pretty much raised me. So. might be laughing, but if you're awake, the voices are. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Evan, goodbye. Bye, Evan. Go sit in the corner. It's safer than you continuing to talk about my wife. I will task a satellite over your house. Has who been in the chat today? Troubled? I have no idea. "24 hours. Good job, Glory. All right. Troubled? I am afraid I can neither confirm nor deny that information. That means no then. Sounds good to me. I love that name message redacted. I was in Albuquerque and riding my bike. Came upon a drone day at the balloon festival, and at first I thought it was natural, like Hitchcock film. Okay. Am I missing something in that sentence? This thing is in the way. Oh, you thought they were like filming something with the drones, or just I don't understand the reference. Unless you're talking about the birds. I'm gonna remember that one. Steer clear of Albuquerque. I don't like the heat. I don't. Maybe it's my Nordic side or Viking side or whatever. I don't like the heat. I'd rather be in it. Like if I'm wearing a short and t-shirts now in the spring going into summer, it don't matter. I'm wearing the same thing in the winter. Okay? Even if I go outside to the store, people are like all bundled up and everything like that. I'm there in shorts and a t-shirt. I don't know. More comfortable like that. Yeah, see, that's what I figured you were talking about. And that's why I mentioned that Birds movie. Then I put together the Hitchcock film that you were talking about. So they were flying drone swarms. What's my opinion about big drones that use engines with gasoline fuel? I mean, it kind of defeats the purpose. To be honest with you, it's going to be a lot harder to have a stable drone that uses a gas engine, considering you have to have an engine on each, blade. I mean, technically it could work, but the response time in the RPMs, depending on what kind of engine you're using, through a flight controller would be fairly difficult. Not that it couldn't be done, but it would have to be more of I would say more of a coaxial kind of design, like a helicopter, something like that. The reason why electric motors are used is because of their response time and the ability to be controlled by the flight controller in order for gyro stabilization, which is a key factor in drones. You gotta have the gyro stabilization. Now I know a lot of people fly FPV where they're in acro mode and they're not using gyro stabilization. But you're also talking about a lot smaller vehicles that if they crash, are not going to do too much damage. But you need real time control, basically. Yeah. 68. Lori, are you storing meat in the living room? What is the best and most bizarre thing about America? Well, that's kind of a broad question. Where do I start? The best and most bizarre thing. It depends on the perspective. If it's from another country, then it's probably going to be the Second Amendment. Because most people don't understand that in other countries. I know in some countries you can go, there's a lot more freedom when it comes to weaponry, but as long as their government doesn't know that you have them, it just depends on where you're at, I guess. Elber, Gonzalez, welcome. It's going to be my apprentice? For what? For making drones or for what? For flying? How much do you weigh? I do need a pilot. Oh, you're less than I am. So that might actually work. Well, you'd be testing a highly experimental quad drone. So do you have any family that will miss you? You never know. I know you have family. It's the will miss you part that I was referring to. Just a wife? Oh my gosh. What a way to categorize her. I hope she's not watching next to you or something. You're going to get a sandal across the back of your head. Just a wife. He says, that's a brave man right there. Your wife isn't just the wife. She's your wife. Better hope she don't see this live stream. You're gonna have to end up going to the store and getting flowers, either for your grave or to calm her down. I can hear it right now. Just a wife when you walk in the door or something, and she's standing in the kitchen with something in her hands behind the counter. You can't see it. 43 kilograms. Oh, the metric system. So, what's that in pounds? That's like, isn't it 2.2 per kilogram? So, 23 times 2.2 is going to be 80, 90, about 92, 93 pounds, somewhere around there. Am I right? You weigh under 100 pounds? Do you have legs? Oh, you'll have a parachute on the thing just in case. You're 148. Is that like 1.48 meters? Is that what you're saying? Like your height? No, I don't know. I don't know. Give it to me in the Imperial system. Okay, convert it for me. I hate math. God, you guys are making me work. I don't want to do math. Just give it to me. Like, convert it and then give it to me. Jackson, hey, how you doing? If I already said hi and I forgot already, I'm sorry. There's a second welcome. Enjoy it. So 1.48, that's going to put you at like 4'11", probably. So you're under 100 pounds and 4'11", roughly. If I had to take a guess. Yeah, you'd definitely be a good pilot candidate, that's for sure. That's small. It's like you could literally be on the live stream with me walking across my desk, just like this. Like, and still be in frame, all of you. You need more than 4 engines? No. No, I doubt you'd need one. You probably just need one. But 4 would be helpful for stabilization. Roblox, celebrating our seventh channel of the year. How many channels does Roblox need? Okay, I'm glad you're doing all that, but why are you doing it in my chat? You now owe me royalties. 70% of all your revenue over the past 35 minutes. Glory. You're a little too hard on yourself, man. I'm 6'4", 290. Okay. Okay. FBI, open up. Hey, how you doing? It's facts. 6'8" and 300. Yeah, but 6'8" and 300, you can't. You're not like obese. That's like a decent weight for a 6'8" guy. You're definitely not a pilot candidate, though. I'll tell you that. Well, in the larger, I can't say it because it's not something I put on YouTube. Let's just say in one of the things that I'm building, you could definitely fit. Trouble 3'2" and 749. What are you, an asteroid? He's like, no, I'm a New York manhole cover. 240 and 6 feet. I'm strong, but I pay for it from years of injury. Yeah, well, don't we all? See, usually when I was younger, I used to get up out of bed, energetic, stretch, feel great. Now I get up and try to figure out what hill that I was rolled down while I was sleeping. Yeah, pounds. I would hope it was pounds. You're the best choice for the pilot at this point. I'll have a waiver ready for you to sign. We will even have a pre-planned memorial service just in case. Josh Central, do I remember you? Well, there's a lot of people that chat with me, so if I don't, please don't take offense. If you have a specific question? No. Okay. Well, welcome. Apologize that I don't remember. I probably do, but I just like that, you know? It's the way men are, right? Especially with the ADHD thing, you know? I remember the last time I was on stream a couple days ago. I just sometimes don't remember everybody. Ernest, why you gotta come in saying shit like that? I mean, come on. That's just wrong. Let's ask why. Oh, glory. There you go. You're stuck between the U.S. and Mexico border? Well, that would be the fence. So, I don't know what part you're stuck on, but we need a proctologist. It's not Spider-Man. Now I remember you. It's Deadpool. I didn't make it. It was one I found. It's the one that magnetically clips together. And you can just kind of put on the main part and then the eyes. And a lot of the stuff's interchangeable, so you can do different eye pieces or different colors. And the panels come off, and they're all magnetic. So, this is the one that I like, especially when I'm commuting, because you put this over the headrest on the passenger seat, and then you can get in the commuter lane. And nobody wants to look over twice. So they glance over, they see the profile of this in the window, and then they look away really quickly. And it's like, then nobody bothers you. You know? So if they ever start making us wear masks again, that's what I'm doing right there. I'm gonna go everywhere in it. Because I don't believe in that whole mask mandate BS. That was just a joke. So if they ever do make us do it again, I'm doing this right here, right here. Everywhere I go. Everywhere. That'd be funny as hell. Waldo! We found Waldo again! Found Waldo. I found Waldo. I found Waldo. I found Waldo. Trouble, chat, what's going on? If they do a mask mandate again, like they did last time, I'm not going to wear a mask at all. Just like I did. Well, I didn't wear one either. You know, and I never took the shot. I'm not telling anyone not to take a vaccine or anything like that. You know, you do you, whatever you want to do. I just, if you want some scientific background on whether or not the vaccine is effective, ask somebody who's had the vaccine how many times they've had COVID, and I will tell you that I got sick one time with flu-like symptoms back in November of 2019. And I haven't been sick since. And I never got the vaccine. So, I'm just saying, everybody else who's getting the vaccine, like one of my neighbors who has to work at a hospice care facility was forced to take the vaccine in order to keep her job, and and she's been sick a couple of times with it, with COVID, and I find that interesting. Take the vaccine, and for some reason you get ill, and then don't take the vaccine. And I'm not saying don't take it because I'm going to give you medical advice. I'm giving you my experience with the situation. Everybody I know who's had the shot has been sicker over the past few years than I have since 2019. So there you go. About the only thing I got to deal with is friggin' allergies. Waldo, what I'm doing? You know what we're doing, man. We're just chatting, hanging out, and getting to know each other, talking. And we'll talk about projects if you guys are interested in anything that's going on, and you know, on any of my channel. My content's kind of an interesting kind of content. Most people aren't really into it because there's a lot of engineering that goes into it, and I focus a lot on the engineering before I do any major flights or spin-ups or anything like that. So, you know, the real fun tidbits that people go in for on the 15 to 30 second mark, it's hard to keep people's attention. It really is. Van Halen? I don't. What? Why'd you say Van Halen? What I miss? Battletoads. Why does that sound familiar? Cobra, what does that even mean? Hello, everyone. Find Waldo. We found Waldo. We found you, man. You're no longer hidden. I know Van Halen did music. I just... Which song are you referring to? Or did I miss it? Oh, that's right. Right, Battletoads. Right. Oh, the original NES. Oh, the first Super Mario. I remember we got that thing, stayed in the garage on the TV. We didn't leave until that was we won the whole damn game. I mean, it was crazy. Those were the days then. I knew Battletoads sounded familiar. I knew it sounded familiar, but I couldn't remember where I heard it from. Gold is money. Cool, send me some gold. I need Battletoads on the stream. I'll consider that. South Africa and talk. And Waldo? What does that mean? And talk Africans. Please clarify. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that song. Hot for Teacher. It was a pretty popular one back in the day. Tank. I think I remember that one. Cobra, what are you saying? Like, can you, like, I don't know, translate? Yeah, they did have multi-game cartridges that you could actually use that had like 3 or 4 games on them and stuff like that. As the technology advanced, they were able to fit more on. The first Final Fantasy game. Oh yeah, you were on that like crazy. I think you went through like a whole bunch. I mean, David knew everything about that game, like everything about that game, to the point where I was like so confused. I had no freaking clue what he was doing, but he knew everything about that game. And then I think there was a couple more that came out, and then eventually, somehow anime got involved and ruined the entire thing. So it's just, I don't know. It's like they should have just stuck with what they had, because I think that was closer to the original, like Dungeons and Dragons style of game in the beginning, and then it become this amalgamation of anime and just sadness. I mean, they ruined the whole thing. Goggle. Yes, they were the best. They were the best. That goes for the movies too, because I watched the remakes of some of the stuff like Chucky and Nightmare on Elm Street and the originals. You cannot beat Robert Englund as the original Freddy. You're just not going to do it. Okay? And David, you know the name of the guy, the voice of Chucky, the original one. I forget his name, but when they freaking brought it back and made Mark Hamill do it, I mean, come on. Couldn't they have made their own thing? It's like even the whole Five Nights at Freddy's thing is an offshoot from Chuck E. Cheese. Everybody knows it. You know, nobody can make up anything original for this generation. Come on, David, I know you know the answer to this one. Yep, Brad Dourif, that's right. He was the original Chucky, and that's the guy you wanted for it. That's the guy, not Mark Hamill. I swear. It's like, leave our old horror movies and stuff and our games alone. Okay, because the new ones you bring in, and there's always got to be something inclusive in it because of the way the policies are, or the outlook on life, or the different types of alphabet communities and stuff like that. Now, instead of just having a normal damn movie like we had back then, now you have to be inclusive with people of a different race or a different lifestyle. Nowadays, like, who cares? It was supposed to be a horror movie. That wasn't supposed to have anything to do with politics. But no, you gotta go ruin it with all this crap. And that's what happened. Thank you for that, United States. I appreciate it. Welcome to the chat. So it's like all the new movies, you don't even want to watch them anymore. It's like I think I'm watching a good science fiction movie, but no, I have to deal with the inclusiveness of the fact that 2 women on the ship are in love with each other. It's like, come on. They even messed up the freaking new Star Trek that they had coming out, Discovery or whatever. I mean, give me a break, It's like, fine, you guys love that lifestyle. Well, keep it in the bedroom and off of the damn TV. We want to watch a good sci-fi flick, It's just a waste. You get into a good show and you think, oh, man. You know, it's like, why? What's that question? Oh, man. Is it? Season 5? Drone project is going pretty good. I'm waiting for a bearing that I have yet to send the link to David for, so he can get it for me, so I can put this fan back together and do another spin up. I also need an 18 cell ESC, an 18S mag components, not too bad, 85 bucks, 120 amp 18S, and then one more 22.2 volt 10,000 milliamp battery to complete my 18 cell pack. Then we'll be able to run the full RPMs of this, because any of the 340 millimeter spin ups that you've seen have only been done with 48 volts. And it's a 75 volt motor capable of 60 horsepower, which means you were only seeing 5,000 RPMs. And you're gonna see 9,000 RPMs when I set up the 18S system. So that's why there's chains here instead of straps. Oh, let me show you. We have it set up for the vertical test really quick. Chains. Have to use chains. The straps I had weren't strong enough, so she's chained down. And I did a run with this already where it spit out one of the roller bearings, which is why I'm switching to a tapered roller bearing, because the skateboard bearings on the 3D printed shaft weren't working, so I'm just incorporating the tapered roller bearing into the main hub, so that when it pulls up, what ends up happening is it doesn't pull on the motor bearings that are driving it at the bottom. I wish I could show you through this, but I really can't. The motor mount and everything. But basically the entire system is going to be, I'm going to take it apart. Hopefully I don't have to reprint this whole bottom part. Otherwise, David, you're going to have to order some more PETG. And then I may have to print this, but I think I can just unbolt the top of this for the fan casing and get it put on the newer one if I have to. Because I've already printed the hub itself, and that's the internal bearing hub right there for that system. So you have the, I'll just show you, since there's people here now. I'll just show you what's going on. So the way we have it is inside that stator casing area I was showing you, the white part, is this bearing hub. And inside that bearing hub, one second, okay, my biggest fan. All right, so inside that bearing hub, set that down, you have this, which is basically the shaft that connects to the main fan. The fan you just saw me put down. Except the one inside there is actually an 11 blade configuration. This one's a 22. So what I did is I made it to where, now on this right here, this goes through the fan, but on the one that I print for the fan, it has a round in, and that's for a 6203 bearing or a 6304, I can't remember which one. But it goes into the forward hub, which keeps the front half of the fan vertical and stable if it goes from a horizontal flat plane to a 90-degree bank angle in flight. So we have a set of bearings that goes over this shaft here, which goes into the inside of the hub. Then the roller bearing sits here. So the outer casing of the tapered roller bearing will go here. Then the roller bearing will go over this into that. So it'll be metal on metal rather than a thrust bearing, which would have been just bearings on plastic, which would have eventually worn down. Then you put this over the top. That encapsulates the bearing into the shaft, and this index shaft here lines everything up where it snaps together perfectly. The bearing will go in that channel, and in this channel here, this will go over and be CA glued into place behind the actual tapered roller bearing. Now, when it attaches to the fan, it's a big fan. Now, when it's pulling up, it's not going to pull it out of that hub because it's going to be pulling against that roller bearing, that tapered roller bearing, and that's going to disperse the weight and keep it very, very centered on its rotational axis. So you don't have to worry about vibrations, you don't have to worry about things like that. I'll be lubricating the entire system with an Interflon HT12 paste to ensure that the roller bearing is lubricated, not too much because usually a lot of heavy grease can slow it down, but we're dealing with a 60 horsepower motor, so I'm not really concerned. But it's a high temperature paste designed for this kind of application. So basically a car hub bearing is what's necessary to run this. Now, you have to consider, and I'll catch up to the comments, so if you're making comments, be patient, because I can't read them while I'm talking to you guys. Basically, the idea is, with the PETG, or the FDM created fan, we should be able to hit the 9,000 RPM mark without everything flying apart. Those are friction fit blades, handled 5,800 RPMs fairly well. 9,000, I think you can take it. We're gonna find out. I won't be in the room when I spin it up. I usually do everything remotely. I've got the GoPro set up in here. I've got my phone recording the amp meter. I've got a camera that will be in here connected to my PC in there, where I'm controlling the actual fan with the FlySky radio. And I'll be watching the amps live so I can keep them under 100, make sure I don't burn anything up. But we're dealing now, when this goes to 18S rather than 12S, we're dealing with the full 75 volts, the full 60 horsepower. At a 110 kV motor, you're looking at 9,000, a little over 9,000 RPMs. So that's definitely plenty of power. If you've ever seen any of the spin-ups that I have done on this fan, at 48 volts, imagine twice the speed. And you've got your engine. Now, you times that by 4. On a drone, that's 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet in size. And I've already designed the body. Right now I'm designing the electronics platform where everything's going to sit in the center, and deciding how I'm going to do the battery configuration. Eventually, the lithium polymer packs will be replaced with a fuel cell, or several fuel cells in series for hydrogen, to get the 75 volts I'm looking for at the amp's current rating that I'm hoping for. And I found a great place that does sell these hydrogen parts. And I wrote to them because I wanted to get a specific voltage and a specific amp draw, and I'm waiting for a response back. They have tanks that will fit in the body, so we can run hydrogen for 30 to 45 minutes, even more, off of one tank. If I could fit 2 tanks in it, and I can run for probably about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. This was one of the things that I wanted to design, and I cannot get into the specifics, but a lot of it is for SAR operations. And that's why I'm designing this drone. Not only to ride, but for SAR ops. So, not PsyOps, SAR. And it's for that industry, as well as my own fun. Thank you for that, Cobra. I do my best to try to explain it without sounding too geeky. Yeah. But it's an interesting project, and when it's done, you'll see what I mean. Well, the maiden on this one is going to be one that I hope everyone gets to watch. I may actually do this. It's probably going to be pre-recorded because where I have to film, I don't have the signal for a live. Otherwise, I would go live. But the field that I'm going to be filming from, it just doesn't have the coverage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film it, and then we'll do it as a premiere so that I'm there with you guys chatting, watching the premiere, and then we can talk about it in a live chat afterwards, I think. I'm not sure. I've never done a premiere before. So we'll find out. But when I fly this thing, it's gonna be an epic flight. I'll tell you that. And you can get sort of a feel for what it's gonna be like if you watch the Shrike V10 Maiden that I did in the Shrike Concept Drone playlist. It's the V10 Maiden because that's when I finally had finalized the design to run a drone strictly with 70mm EDFs. That was one of my most fun projects. And unfortunately I had to take it apart because money permitting, I had to take it apart to start on a different project. And I still have all my ESCs and control systems for that. But they went into the Javelin when I was trying to get Javelin going. But I need to change the motor size for Javelin. This is what set me on the road to building a larger motor. Was I was tired of having to think to myself, if I wanted a decent sized EDF engine for a project, I'm not going to spend, even for the JP Hobby 120s, you're going to drop 800 for a pair. So you're 1,600 in for 4 motors, and that's not even the size you want, and you want something bigger. So I decided to design my own motor, and I wanted to make sure that it was something that could be done off of Amazon when it came to parts. Pretty much everything comes from Amazon. So the motor, the PETG, the bearings, everything. The only thing that you don't have is the components list or the STL files, which eventually will be made available after I have done all the work and I verified that everything's flying correctly and it's something that you think you're willing to do. I'm using an X1 Carbon to print this. I'm sure you could print it on anything else. But the X1 Carbon is what I did it with. So it's you building something like this successfully. You might build it out and then carbon fiber mold the whole thing. Who knows? And end up with a better fan. I don't know. I just once I get this thing done and verified and everything's good to go, then I want to make it available to people so that they can enjoy building something like this if they want to. I also have the smaller 170mm version of that fan for smaller drones, if you can call them smaller drones with 170mm motors. But I did it with a high pass turbine fan. So yeah, some of my modifications on the whole system are interesting, to say the least. What are you talking about, Cobra? Did I lose everyone going through the technicals? Because I like to talk to you guys. I noticed that Cobra, why are you being mean to Africa? Africa's still a country. I mean, everybody deserves a chance, you know what I mean? I mean, hey, you gotta... Every country deserves a chance. Even the U.S. is like, every country deserves a chance. And you know what happens if you mess up. But like I was saying, I was kind of scrolling through the lives before, and not a lot of people talk directly to you. I want to talk to you guys. I want to answer your questions. I want to be able to get to know who you guys are. So when you subscribe, you know who I am. So when you're watching my content, you're like, I know this guy. He like talks to us. He opens up to us. He tells us about it, his experiences. I want to hear about your experiences and your interests, things like that. I don't want it to just be like the lives that I typically see on the verticals where people are scrolling through and someone's talking about something. There's people asking questions like crazy and no one is answering anything. They're literally acting like they're just filming a video. And I don't want to do that. I want to answer your questions. I want to be part of your conversation. And I want you guys to enjoy the engagement that we have here, so that, frankly, you keep coming back. I want you guys to see the content. I want you guys to be, the people who were in on this with me. I want you to see what the fun we're going to have when we spin up a big drone like this. I mean, it's going to be awesome. You okay there, Simon? Simon, what's going on, man? Why did that, I got you. Simon, calm down. Cobra's always been racist, I think. Yeah, I don't like any of that stuff. We don't like racism. We don't like any of that other stuff. I may have my opinions on specific communities, but I will talk. I still recognize these people as human beings, okay? So I'm not going to disrespect them in any way, like when it comes to different religions, when it comes to different races. The only thing that confuses me is the whole LGBT. I never know the alphabet community, and I don't say that disrespectfully. I say it because I have no idea how many alphabets are in the actual acronym now. So, because to me, you can be whatever you want to be. To me, but I'm not gonna. Just don't force me to call you that. It's just that simple. Like I had said before, you remember the shirt I was wearing where it said "Straight White Republican Male." I wore that shirt as a demonstration of what I was talking about before. Because I'm not getting into another misgender argument at the store with somebody. Wear a name tag, okay? If I'm gonna walk out, and I did the same thing. I practiced what I preached, okay? I went to the store, I was wearing the shirt. And then I got people walking by me, I can't get much clearer than that. I'm like, yeah, see how easy that is? So if you're gonna claim to be something that you wanna be, more power to you. No one's holding it against you. I just don't want to get yelled at because I don't know what the frickin' hell you are today. Okay? It's just that simple. Wear a name tag. How old is America? Old enough to drink. Yeah, Simon, that's pretty much what it comes down to. It's like, people label me just because of the color of my skin. They don't even know them. not only am I English, I'm Scottish and Irish, Nordic. I'm from Basque, um, Indigenous Americas, Indian, talk, um, Portugal, France, Spain, pretty much everything in my bloodline. So, yeah. So while my pigment may appear white, and it's actually not white, it's more of a peach colored, if you want to get technical. I just don't understand why people do that. I see a lot of like pissed off women after Trump took office who were literally making threats, like actual bodily harm threats to men. And I'm like, why? What did we do? You don't like who's in office? Sorry, that's how the game works. Every 4 years we do this. One side's happy, one side's not. Why are you crying about it now? Again. Emily, are you talking to me? Nothing to read? You could try a book. I don't think I have a lot of viewers just, because I'm a guy doing a vertical live stream. Now, if I were a female, I guarantee you, that's all it would take. It's just me being female. And I guarantee my numbers would be through the roof. It's just the world we live in, right? Well, those developing countries will have to learn how to fall in line. That's all there is to it. I mean, we all kind of have to, get along. Otherwise, what's the point? Everyone thinks we're headed for like the next, world war and blah, 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 blah. I was worried too much. The whole world's like building up its own anxiety and just being completely paranoid about everything. To the point where they're making up stuff because I saw something on a reel and they rolled with it. Then you got the ones who are against religion who try to somehow say, I'm no longer a Christian because I read the Bible. I'm like, really? How do you even quantify that as logical? Whatever. I don't mean getting along, I mean moving towards sustainability and collective coming together with a moral goal of, thank you for that, these things are here to read, goal of reducing harm and suffering. Well, that would be perfect, except for the fact that, unfortunately in our country, the pharmaceutical company is a huge industry. So you cure a patient, you lose a customer. It's sad, but that's the facts. And that's why we are where we are. If money didn't rule the world, people would live a lot longer. Enjoy yourself, Connor. Have fun. Anyway. Hey, Jen! Yeah. We need to set up like sounds for people when they come in and just get that. You know, every time you come into the chat, you know, set up custom entrance sounds. A10 has entered the chat. Brr. Do you think there is importance in ethnicity, or do you think that nationality and national ancestry is more important than human? Well, I mean, ethnicity sort of goes hand in hand with the nationality, I would assume. So they're kind of one and the same. I don't think your ethnicity is necessary unless it comes down to your personal views of your own, you know, your culture and where you came from. Everybody has pride in that. So I think that's important. You know, just because you come to America or something like that doesn't mean you have to give up your culture. You just have to follow a different set of rules. That's all. But the diversity in culture is kind of what America is all about, right? Without the diversity in culture, I wouldn't be here. So that's a good example of the way we should look at people, you know, as human beings. Now, I know everyone's going to say, then why are we closing the borders and kicking out a bunch of people? And all I can tell you on that front is the fact that we're trying to secure the borders for the purpose of protecting the people in the United States. It's just that simple. Now, nobody would. Now, this guy that was sent away, that everyone was in a fuss about because they say he was an American citizen. From what I understand, was an MS-13 gang member. So, since that group was labeled as a terrorist organization, if you associate with it, you should pretty much expect to be treated as a terrorist organization. And everyone says that he was a U.S. citizen, but I think, I don't know the facts on it. I don't think he actually was a naturalized citizen, because I don't believe he was. So, that all aside, whether he was a citizen or not, he was a member of a gang that was labeled a terrorist organization. And realistically, the whole point of the border is, one, to make sure that people can come through legally, through the legal process, and become American citizens. And the border protection is for keeping people out that would traffic individuals or cause harm to other humans or bring in illicit substances that's harmful to the American people. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to secure your border, especially with seeing what we have been seeing with the influx of substances that are harming United States citizens. So, I mean, you got to choose your battles. You want to come to America legally, come to America legally. It's that simple, okay? Anybody else who says that they should just be here and we should just allow it and do whatever, and they should know, you know, even if they crossed illegally, they're citizens because they had children here. I mean, think about what they're putting their children through if they came here to have a child to obtain citizenship. So now the value of the child is just whatever citizenship that this person can get out of having the child. What position does that put the child in when they're just being used for citizenship? So, I mean, I don't know. And then we wonder why the youth is the way it is today. Yes, I can. A10. Actually, I have the entire model file for it, and I was experimenting with some durability on the expandable PLA front, and I was testing it, which is why this is beat to hell. But yeah, I have it. I have the whole A10 file, 270 mils. We're gonna do one. Skibbity. Bye-bye. Why did Joe Biden wait? Why did Joe Biden didn't take a driving test in the UK? Why do you think? I mean, it'd be obvious, right? He'd fail a driving test. Well, yeah, people will take, illicit substances whether I want them to or not, whether it's legal or not. That's their choice. But the availability of substances that could seriously harm someone or even take their life is what we're trying to avoid. So, because the last thing you want to do is go to a party where weed, in a state where weed is legal, and some poor kid gets, some cannabis that happens to be laced with fentanyl, which is what we're trying to get rid of, and they end up overdosing, and they had no intention on taking it. That's my point. I mean, even people that are on harder drugs, like there's a heroin epidemic, we all know that. There's a pill epidemic, we all know that. So now they're trying to bring in fentanyl, and they're using pill presses to make them look like legitimate medications, and then selling them off, and then people are overdosing. That's the whole reason why the border needs to be shut down tight. Bottom line. It doesn't mean people can't immigrate legally. It just means that now they have to immigrate legally. Another side of that is we do a census in this country that allows each state to understand what funding that they're going to need to support the citizens that they have. And if you're here illegally and can't be counted, then guess what? There's not enough money or community resources available for people who may be in need. So that's why. I mean, there's so many reasons I could list off. It's like you get the left complaining about it all the time. About how, we're stopping or deporting citizens and we're not allowing people to cross the border and for a better life. And it's like, no, we've never stopped letting people immigrate to this country legally. So my message to Schumer and Adam Schiff would be, if that's your stance on it, that we're doing it wrong now by closing the borders, then I say open up your fences in your houses. What that you bought with all that money that Doge found. And let those illegals live in your house. Let them on your lawn. I mean, you won't. Because you talk the talk, and you won't walk the walk. That's the way it's always been with them. Schiff and Schumer, what a pair. It's like freaking Bert and Ernie. Like a stupid Bert and Ernie. Glory. Is your body armor? Oh, Kevlar or sorry, it's Kevlar. I'm getting level 4 plates for it, but it's 3A plus. A plus soft body armor. Oh, I should say flexible body armor. It does have the ceramic plates, the small ceramic hexagons in it, and then layers of Kevlar. You know how the 3A plus stuff is done. But I would like, it does have pouches for level 4 plates for front and back, regardless of the flexible 3A plus part. So I wouldn't mind having some level 4 plates, but I'm not too worried about that. Let's see.
you're left-leaning, but realistically, until national governments are dissolved, we can't have open borders and full freedom of travel. No, we can't have open borders. It's too dangerous to have open borders. Yeah, politics is kind of boring. Yeah, it's kind of like the dragon scale armor. It is. It's pretty much the same thing. So yeah. It's got some weight to it with all my mags on it, but by itself it's not that heavy. But mine's kind of set up for, you know, a QCB situation. Or CQB. Oh, dyslexia. I love it. Yeah. Hello. How are you? Welcome. I can't say the name. I'm going to mess it up. I'm sorry. I am on a delay, so if you're just getting this hi, hello, how are you? I apologize. I got to solve this issue, but I like using the front facing camera on the phone when I do vertical, because if I don't, then everything's reversed. If I do it the other way, where I can actually read the chat. But at the distance I have the phone from me, I wouldn't be able to see it anyway. So I'm on the same delay as everybody else. I like country music, not on purpose. Some, yes, maybe. I'm sort of eclectic when it comes to that. I like all kinds of different music. Any kind of music that just, you know, that sounds good to me. You know, I'll play. It doesn't matter who it's made by, you know. Well, Simon, don't spam stuff. See, thank you. And I was asking nicely. I still do that every time. Like I get ready to do something, and my trigger finger. Oh, good Lord. Wonder how many people I don't have in chat today. Sometimes I get like a lot of viewers, and then sometimes I don't get very many at all, and it's annoying. It's like, I mean, you're not supposed. I know it's a Thursday, but why are you at work? You're supposed to be at home watching me. I mean, come on. Oh, thanks a lot. See you later, 810. Yeah, I figured it'd be a slow one today, but I wanted to get a chat out there and get to know some people, and if they're interested in the content, interested in the chats, that kind of thing, and we just talk and hang out and talk about whatever you want to, then that's great. I'll do a walkthrough on the shop before we shut everything down, and then we'll call it. But it's weird because sometimes, you know, I always get, you know, sometimes I'll get 4,000 or 5,000 views or something like that. It's the peak concurrent though. It's like they like to count that up. They're like, you've got like 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 peak concurrent viewers, and it's like, So I'm scrolling through the lives and I see, because I wanted to check them out, because I've never actually seen it from that angle. I don't watch lives. I don't know why. I see people with 10, 15, 20 concurrent viewers. Sometimes people have higher ones. It's typically females that get the highest view counts. So it's like, it's just it shows what men are interested in and how most of them are on YouTube. It's like, now we know that there's not that very many women on YouTube that actually watch YouTube. They are creating content for YouTube. That's why there's not very many in my channel. Hi, how you doing, Harry? Welcome to the chat. Alpha Wolf. I would do that, but that would defeat the purpose of the whole thing. It's like, I don't want to have to bring people in by bringing in a female. I feel that's like exploitive, for one. And I just think it just goes to show what people want to see, And I have a certain kind of content that most people wouldn't be interested in outside of just this live chat that we're doing, because it's sort of niche content. It's engineering, it's aviation, and not a lot of people are interested in that for some reason. There's only a select group that are. But what I like to do is try to make things entertaining for people. And when I do, spin-ups and flights and things like that, I try to make it as fun as possible. But ultimately it comes down to the channel is geared towards me engineering a different type of propulsion system that can be done on a 3D printer. Parts can come off of Amazon, and you got something cool. Plus I have much more major projects that are not on YouTube. Science World. Hey, what's up? Alpha, why are you getting like bad vibes from Science World? What for? He just said hey. Yeah. I kind of hoped today's chat would have been a little bit more, interesting. But, Well, Harry, that's the thing. I'm taking this kind of technology that I've got, that I'm working with right now, and I'm trying to make it to where people can, if they want to build something like this, they can 3D print it and get the stuff off Amazon. That was the whole purpose, because I wasn't going to drop like $5,000 on one motor from Schubler. And so I was like, with that much money, I could do the entire drone with my 3D printer and make my own engine. Make my own EDF. That doesn't seem to be the content people want to see, though. They either want to see, like, a girl on the screen, or somebody, doing a live of getting hurt on a skateboard or something, or just something weird, or they want to watch a girl react to a video that you've all seen already, and because they're not watching the video, they're watching the girl. I don't know. It just seems like men have a pretty fair disadvantage when it comes to creating content on YouTube. And getting the attention for what they're actually doing. Now, there are a few out there that have been pretty successful. You got like the Hacksmith, but who does some really cool stuff. the Plasma channel. He does some really cool stuff, and he's got a decent amount of viewers, but Lord knows how long it took him to get there. I'm trying to get to a point where I can continue to sustain the channel. So yeah, I'm going for monetization. Because the stuff's expensive, when it comes to buying parts and experimenting and doing different types of tests and testing different equipment, so that when I'm done with an engine or a motor system or a propulsion system, I can tell everyone what it's going to take to build it and what components they need to get, and then have the STL files ready for people. And so when I have to go through and do different tests, and I have to get different equipment, it gets expensive. So it makes it to where it kind of slows down my progress. And like, for example, I have to get the gear or the bearing ordered for the new hub, but in order to put the new hub together with the fan casing, I'm going to have to print the whole bottom part of the stator again, which is fine, but I have to get more filament for that. So that's why I have links up, like, the buy me a coffee link and stuff like that. If people are interested in the content, they can donate if they want to. No one's obligated to donate anything, but every bit helps. So yeah, it's what it is. It's just really hard for me to get the people up there, It gets you guys to come in and say, oh, well, I really like the content, or I really just like the chats where we're just kind of hanging out and talking. Old Glory, you want to mate? What? Wait, Alpha Wolf, what are you talking about, man? Now you're getting weird, man. Alpha Wolf? That's the strangest statements I've ever heard. Wrong name for the catcher. Nah, he's being funny, I get it. Some people might take offense to it. I don't care. I get trolls in here all the time. That's probably 90% of who I do get in here are the trolls. And eventually I end up turning them into subscribers. It's my magnetic personality, I guess. Yeah, old Corey knew what I was talking about. 3D printers work by taking, well, really simply, you have a plate and you've got 3 axes. You've got the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. When you bring a model into the slicer program, like a 3D model, you set the parameters for the 3D printer model and how you want it sliced, how high you want the layers, what type of infill that you want for strength, so on and so forth, depending on what type of model you're doing and what for. The slicer then slices that 3-dimensional object into the layers that it can send over in a G-code format to the printer. Then the printer goes layer by layer, following the coordinates of the G-code to lay out every single layer and eventually build the object. It's called additive manufacturing, or FDM printing. And that's how it works. And it uses basically thermoplastics like PLA or PETG. PETG is akin to, 2-liter bottles, same type of material. PLA is a bit more brittle. They have several different types of PLAs and PETGs and ABS, all those kind of different types of materials that you can print. And it's dependent solely on your printer. So if you get something like an X1 carbon, like I have, I can print, you know, up to nylon 6. Anything hotter than that is gonna, you know, require something that could go up past 350 Celsius or so. And because there are other materials you can get, but you just have to get specialized printers for them. Most desktop printers are going to top out probably at around nylon 6 or so. Oh, geez, thanks, David. Fucker. The bald spot on top of my head. Yeah. I got a slight thinning bald spot going on. Well, it's not slight anymore, but I don't care. You know, even if I end up shaving all this later on, the beard's always going to be here. That's all that matters. Then I'll just Viking tat up the scalp, you know? You have a Super Nintendo. I miss those. Who doesn't miss Mario Kart? So any other, oh, here we go. What does that mean? You're shooting a pheasant for well, you're welcome, I guess, for the explanation. I'm not sure what the pheasant has to do with it. Gen X Tactic, welcome. Hi, how you doing? You bought yourself a PS5? Well, I better see you on Call of Duty later then. Oh, glory. At least we can get on comms and I can actually talk to people who will communicate. Oh, the card tournaments? Yeah. I remember. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I was always good at those games. I used to pick off everyone I played with. Not sure why. Because I'd roam off the road. They'd like spin out. You don't play online? How come? Well, you can download Warzone. I think Warzone is free. It's the it's like the Black Ops 6 and stuff like that you have to pay for. I think Warzone itself though is open to the public. I think you just have to download it from Steam, install Warzone, and then I think it's more. At least this is what I believe is that you can, even if you didn't purchase any of the Call of Duties, you can still download and play Warzone. You'd just be limited on what different game modes you could play. If you own Cold War, then yeah, you can get on Warzone online. Congratulations, Alpha Wolf.
Super Mario World. Is that like a new Microsoft program? No, Super Mario World is pretty good. I like that one. How do you not have cables for your PC? Like you got a computer and forgot the cables? Oh yeah, you gotta do the whole PS Plus membership thing, huh? Harry, it was lovely to meet you as well. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful day. And to the rest of everyone who has been here, I hope you've had a wonderful day. I doubt I'm the highlight of it, but you know, at least it's something to do, right? I must be that bored choice that people make. I knew what you were saying, Josh. I was just messing with you. So what are everyone's plans for the weekend? All three of you? What was on the street? Super Mario World or the whole thing? AC Odyssey. I haven't heard of that one. Oh, I got you. I understand. So you found a PC, you just don't have cables for it. Is it a good PC? Why was it on the street? Alpha, go sit in the corner. Moderators, it is time to execute Alpha. Be gone with him. Thank you. You guys are wonderful. Love my mods. They do a great job. Taking the cringe out of the chat. Trolls, yeah. I kind of like them though because it's kind of funny because they, like, sometimes they'll come in here directly attacking me. Like, hey, old man, this, that, and the other, whatever they want to say. You know, make themselves feel better about the fact that they're short and have no future. But you know, it's just funny to me. Sometimes I let them troll just because it's funny. It's like a child throwing a temper tantrum, except on the internet. Yeah, some of them jump in here and they say weird stuff. I don't. They either were held too much or not enough as a child. Maybe they were breastfed by their dad. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is with society nowadays. It's all ass backwards. It's hard to apologize for the sins of the world. But that's what we have to deal with. But I hope everyone enjoys the content of the channel nonetheless. We are going to be doing some fun stuff coming up pretty soon. I want to get out there and do some flying. But to be honest with you, I want that FMS Fox, the 3000 millimeter one, that powered glider. That's the one that I want. David. That's the one that I want.
Hint, hint. But yeah, other than that, you know, because I want to get some flying stuff out there. Because now I've got the GoPro, I'm going to put the GoPro on the Fox, and then I want to actually like fly it around, let you guys see some, not only footage from the ground, but some aerials and things like that. And I have found myself engineering things so much in the garage, which I've turned into a shop basically, that I haven't been able to fly anything because I've been working on stuff so much. And I don't have an FMS Fox yet, which I want to get. Hint, hint. So that would be cool. You have a CRT? Seriously? They still make those? Well, he's been timed out, Josh. So we do that sometimes. Yeah, I didn't think they made CRTs anymore. You got a CRT, you might want to take that down to the Smithsonian and make yourself some money. Skibbity! Hello again, Skibbity. I'm waiting for his next statement. Oh, okay, I got you. Dang, what's the PC? Like a Pentium? I remember I was in the computer lab at the community college back in the day. And I think we were excited when we got the first Pentium. You know, before that we were running the 386, I think it was, processor. Oh yeah, no, we were at Windows 3.1 when I was working on stuff. I was running 3D Studio Max from DOS. You had to leave Windows altogether just to run that program. Skibbity, go sit in the corner. Stop harassing people. Skibbity, skibbity, skibbity. Why is everyone like 6'8", 6'11", 6'12", 7 feet, alpha and all this other stuff when they come into chat? When I get their profile picture is like them standing on a coffee table just so they can reach the door handle. Oh my god. Your PC runs Windows 7 still? Yeah, like I said, take that thing down to the Smithsonian. Tell them you got a vintage computer you want to sell them. Eating a microwave dinner in his mother's basement. Getting a cup of water from the dehumidifier. SVIST. Why would I say that? $5.2 and that being generous. That's being generous. 5'2"? You're like a pocket-sized human. Women flock to you. Seagulls don't count. You live in a penthouse in New York City and you're watching me on YouTube? I somehow doubt that. Oh, in Russian. Well, SVST. Очень приятно. Indy, can you do a slow motion? What? Rage burst? Why are you saying hell no for? Ediazo Booth. DPC. So, очень приятно. Guys, they're just going at it. Ding, 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 ding. Whose wife is he going after? Ain't mine. She ain't gonna give a damn. SVST. Good for you to drop by. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. Joseph. Hello. Welcome. Samuel. Westfall. Welcome. And hello to you as well. You're 6'12" now? Okay. He's 6'12" now, guys. He's 6'12". Everyone's 6'12". Hey, Josh. Have a good one. Samuel, how are you doing today? Oh, we're just chatting. Chatting and talking about the project that I've been working on. Not the project, you know. What yeah, my projects. Yeah. Just had to clarify that since we're on the internet. Shinobi, what are you talking about, man? I am building a 4.5 foot by 4.5 foot drone that uses 4 60 horsepower, 22 blade, high pass EDF engines, capable of roughly 1,400 pounds of lift. All made with a 3D printer and a little bit of insanity. really care about that. Oh, I think I remember the name now of what you're talking about. At full RPMs, which you never usually run at, its max lift capacity is 1,400 pounds. When we're testing in a thermoplastic version, like with the PETG version, we try to keep the RPMs low. It'll still produce a lift, but putting any massive amount of weight on something that I haven't CNC'd yet out of an alloy, it's all going to be dependent on what weight that the blades can actually take, or what torque they can take when it comes to weight. So testing the PETG printed version is basically going to be a scaled version of the alloy version once I get the parts CNC'd for the fan, and revamp the actual hub and bearing assembly, because I'm looking for more of a tool steel to tool steel contact kind of shaft for the actual fan, so that we don't have to worry about bearings. It can be easily cooled by running aluminum fins off of the actual bearing hub, which will be in the actual flow of the wind coming off the EDF. So yeah, I can push the PETG printed version to a specific point. I may even be able to apply a decent amount of weight to it. But in order to get maximum performance out of the system, I'm going to have to CNC things out of alloy, do some TIG welding, so on and so forth. And that's going to be the version that I'll be able to ride. Oh, now he's 6'13". You got a staircase or something, man? Because you seem to be getting taller every time you make a chat or something. You like just take another step up. Now I'm 6'14". Okay. You got it, Shinobi. You look, prompts look in, oh. Yeah, don't you know Simon? He met his wife on ancestry.com. Oh, I wouldn't worry about him. Oh, Samuel, my apologies, I missed your question. Domestic use now, hopefully military contract later. Actually, I am working on something I can't talk about, and that's why I'm sort of staying in the drone hobbyist realm at this point on the channel, because there's going to be stuff I can't show you. But I can give you a generalized idea behind what I'm creating with a hobby-style drone. Domestic use for the system, though, I am leaning a lot towards SAR operations because of how I've designed this. Won't really get into specifics at the moment. I kind of want that to become apparent during the maiden flight. But this is going to be, I hope, a really big answer to SAR operations, getting into tight spaces, not having to worry about helicopter blades or even open drone propeller blades, things like that. Not to mention, it's not basically stuck in a horizontal flat 4-engine configuration. It's able to gimbal, so the entire body can go 90 degrees, but the engines will stay level, straight up and down. And the first 2 engines rock out, and the other ones stay in, closer to the engine, so I don't have to worry about the weight from one engine affecting the other, but it allows it to go through small gaps in mountainsides to get to a fallen climber, or going through heavy brush and trees and things like that, so it can get to a rescue operation to gather intel or to drop first aid and communications and water to victims, that kind of thing. Scouting for fires, things like that. Potential hazards where general drones couldn't get into. Imagine a drone that's able to go from a horizontal flight position to a vertical one and be like a book sliding into a bookshelf between books, but through trees and things like that, to get to places where normally people couldn't access on foot, to get the intel that they need for any kind of rescue operations or fire watch type of situations, or even reconnaissance when it comes to military applications. Some of my future plans on this one are it's mainly in the gimbling of the mounts where the motors are attached to. So the system can set down on the bottom of its ductwork and crouch its entire body to the ground. It can walk, plus it can hop up in the air and engage the engines from a surprise position. It just goes on from there. Let's just put it that way. So the applications for this are pretty much endless. But the main test I'm going for with this build, the engines will be static as far as their positioning, and it's to test the validity of not only the thrust, but the design itself. And at the scale I'll be doing it at, it'll basically prove the engine's viability as far as a replacement for external prop type engines. It's just a matter of getting money so I can keep going, you know? So I try to monetize the channel and see what I can do. And, you know, I put up a buy me a coffee link just if people want to donate towards the cause, you know. I'm putting together a proposal to submit to somebody in regard to SAR operations and how this can be useful. So that's one of the things I'm focusing on at this point. Helping people with the tech, you know. Josh said hi again. How you doing? Test Drive 6 for the Game Boy Color. That's bringing back memories. Oh, come on, Skivity. Do we have to? All right, I'm not gonna tolerate threats in the chat. So, if the moderators would like to time out Skibidi, that would be wonderful. Unless he apologizes, of course, and then we can continue chatting. Stop bickering with each other. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. You guys need to stop this bickering. Oh, wait, hold on one second. Oops. Get rid of Scooby. So, as I was saying, I'm not going to tolerate any threats, things like that. against people who are trying to actually listen to what I'm saying or enjoying the chat. So let's just leave it at that. Simon, just ignore him. He's gone. I know people come in and they want to troll. I get that. But you start making threats like that against somebody, you know, start having an argument, one of you's got to go. That's all there is to it. Oh, Yazinator? Hi, how you doing? I hope I said that right. Sorry if I didn't. Oh, man. Well, as far as trolls go, I mean, like, when you're trolling, he's pretty good at trolling. I don't think it's, yeah, it was sarcastically, is what you meant. I was about to get to that point. Yeah. No, we don't. I want this to be a place where people can come and talk and hang out and have a good time and either ask questions about the content that I have on my channel or ask me questions about anything you'd like. That's what these chats are for. But when people start getting to the point where they are going to become threatening or start threatening other individuals in chat, then you will be timed out. If it continues, you'll be banned. I don't want to have to ban you. So, you know, let's just keep the conversation to where it is. Let's keep it respectful, you know? So does anybody have any other questions about my projects or anything else that's going on? Or anything you just guys want to talk about? I'm watching the chat and I'm on the same delay as everybody else, so I apologize if I don't answer right away. Coffee. So I wonder how many people I have in chat now. Started talking technicals and everyone just ducks out because I'm not like doing something stupid on the internet. It amazes me how much attention people get for doing things like that, like doing dumb things. It's like I was telling you before, I scrolled through the lives and nobody was actually talking to the people that were there. I'm talking to you guys. I want to get to know you, you know. And most people don't do that. They're just like doing the live and they're talking and they're about whatever else. And I've seen some strange things. I'm not trying to judge any of them. I know they're trying to, you know, do their thing, but it's just amazing to me what people want to see. You look at the views on some of the shorts, some of the videos. It's amazing. You know, people getting hurt on the videos and while attempting things that they probably shouldn't. And those get more views than, you know, a completely 3D printed 340 millimeter high pass EDF engine. Okay, fine. Maybe I'm a geek if you want to call me that, but I'm sorry. I think what I'm doing here is cool. I can't imagine why anybody else wouldn't want to watch it. But it is 3:45, and I started to win. I've been on long enough, and I don't think anybody else is dropping by to say hi, you know. But that's okay. I'll show you the fan. I'll show you the shop, and then we'll call it a wrap. Yeah, let's plug this. You already know about this one that I was explaining to you. Hold on a second. The phone's gonna freak out.
I wasn't finished.
Yes, we know. So this is the fan and the hub and the design I showed you earlier. This fan is the one I'm talking about. So this is the other adaptation with the 11 blade and the 11 shorties. So that's the what's going to run the 18S. That's what's going to use the new tapered roller bearing for stability, for the upward vertical stability. Still got to get that bad boy finished so I can fly it. This one we're going to get set up and finished so I can fly it. I think I have everything for it. Waiting for the 18 cell ESC for that, and then I need one more battery to make this work because this is 12S. I need 18, so I'll need one more in series. Yes, we're still working on the dill drone. That one is just a matter of getting different motors because I'm going to be, one of them died, and I'm going to end up using one of them on that plane. So, hi Deadpool. So yes, the dill drone will fly again. Just not right now. But I do have videos of flying it, so, and some shorts out there on it, so it was pretty funny. This is the 170 millimeter version, of course, of the fan that you've seen over there. This one runs on a 4-to-1 gear ratio, so you got a much higher RPM of about 28,000 RPMs. There's also videos of this out there too, some shorts and things like that, of me running that with the different materials on the gear ratio side when I was running the front drive version of it for testing, because it was just much easier than having it all on the inside and the back. And then if something goes wrong, I got to take everything apart. If it was here, then I could just pop the motor mount off and then change the gearing out and test it again. This is a good fan. Really good fan. I can tell the difference, to be honest with you, between the Bamboo Lab PETG and the Creality PETG. Not that the Creality PETG is bad, because that's what this entire fan is made out of. But I can definitely tell the difference in layer adhesion quality when it comes to the Bamboo Lab PETG. I just wish they'd see my channel and go, yeah, we'll send him an H2D for free so he can do this big project on it and prove our machine even better. But of course, they've got people out there that have a lot more viewers than I do, so they're not going to send me anything. This will be the drone I'm putting together for the GoPro for the purposes of filming from the sky when we do take off with this drone. Again, this is going to be 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet, has 4 of those engines, and it's going to be all clear PETG, all lit up with Arduino lights so that we can get our first UFO sighting. That's going to be awesome. Doesn't that look trippy from the top? That is freaking cool. Anyway, another type of drone that I'm putting together is this one. It was the original Shrike concept. That one's coming up next. After I get the big guy down here. Because that's experimental. This is a turbojet that I put together. I have to print cores for because that engine I actually have tested. You'll see it in some of my older videos. And that is for the Cuddy Black from Star Citizen, which I'm trying to build a huge body for so I can do the carbon fiber molding around that and make that fly. I even did like some experimental gold stuff. That was actually kind of fun. I found gold. But yeah, that's what we're all about here. The MP-CNC over there, which is a 3-axis CNC, was basically all 3D printed, except for the obvious metal parts and other things. but everything else was 3D printed. The carriage and everything that holds it together, all 3D printed. And I used this to make the molds for the larger body, because what's going to end up happening is I'm going to use 2 of these in an SR-72 Darkstar model, and I want to try and eventually hit Mach 1 with an RC plane. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm going to do it. But that's what I do. And then, of course, I practice piano. Not very good at it. An old faithful right here. Can't miss that. Growing some stuff over there. Other than that, that's what I do. This is what I do. So I hope everyone's enjoyed the content. I hope you all have liked what you've seen. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, regardless of the people who have been basically been trolling out like crazy. Matter of fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me check the chat again. I might be behind on it. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Yeah, it was a turbulent one for sure. Oh, there's chats. Oh, okay, now I can see them. Cool. Yeah, there'll be an American flag on it for sure. In Arduino lights, because the whole thing's going to be clear PETG. But other than that, I want to thank everyone who has stopped by today. I hope you enjoyed everything that we did. I hope you like what's going on in the shop. I hope you enjoy the next couple of flights we're going to end up doing. Once I get everything done, it's going to be fun. You don't want to miss it. Be looking for the shorts, because the shorts are going to be the ones where I notify you of when flights are going to happen, when we do maidens with these aircraft. So keep a lookout for those. Subscribe. Click that bell for notifications, not to sound too cliche. That way you know when a video is coming. And from everyone here at DPC, we love you all. Hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you again soon.